With that, let me go ahead and introduce Rich DuSakto. Rich, fantastic to have you joining us. I've had the pleasure of working with Rich on this implementation at DropTank, and he's the BI manager for DropTank, and they have presented several times on what they're doing and how they're using OAC. So with that, let me ask you to go ahead and share your screen. Rich, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me okay?
Yep, sounds great. I'll turn things over. If you share your screen, it should take over. We'll let you talk about DropTank.
Okay, great. Thanks for that introduction, Dan. Just to check, video and audio, you can see my presentation now, okay?
Sounds great.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. Well, thanks for that introduction, Dan and Edelweiss. Great to be with everybody, and good morning to all the folks out there. Looks like we've got about 80 folks out there from, different capacities and different companies. So welcome, everybody. Just a little bit about an opening here. So the last 12 months at my employer, DropTank, have been really just a fascinating journey and kind of the power of data and how by upping our game in terms of our capabilities, our technology, and our process, it's really transformed the way that we do business here at DropTank here. So I'm just going to share with you the journey that we've been on. As I was putting this presentation together, I know Dan talked about this particular forum. It's advertised as an Oracle user community. Yes, we use Oracle products from an analytical standpoint. Oracle Analytics Cloud is the platform that we've recently updated. I tried to, as I put this presentation, relate to people that may use different tools. You know, Microsoft's product, Power BI, is very popular. Tableau is very popular. Heck, you might even just use Microsoft Excel spreadsheets and PowerPoint out there. Doesn't matter. Hopefully you can take some things away from this session on what is possible that we've been able to show through our experience. In addition to the different platforms, also, recognize that we probably have people on the phone, different industries. You don't have to be an expert at the retail fuels convenience industry like my company specializes in currently. Occupational, you may be somebody who's a data analyst, a data scientist. You may be a CEO of a company, a technical data engineer. There's a lot of different angles that I'm going to present today that I hopefully will help spark some ideas in everybody here. So with that, I'm going to start out before I get into the meat and potatoes of my presentation, just a personal introduction, a little bit about myself. So again, I work for a company by the name of DropTank. We are located in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. My role is a business intelligence manager, and from a career standpoint, I've got over 25 years of experience in data analytics and performance reporting, and both as an individual contributor and leading teams, upwards of 20 people. Right now I'm a team of one because I work for a very small company. Career-wise, I started out as an accountant, a CPA for the first 5 years or so of my career, and I learned early on the power of data, that if you can follow data in terms of cash flow in a company, you really can have a good fundamental understanding of a company's operations. So that's what kind of triggered for me a passion to get outside of kind of your traditional accounting career path and get into data analytics, which for me felt more impactful in terms of what I can do for companies. Most of my career has been in the energy, oil and gas industry. I worked for a major oil company for many years in various capacities that you see on the screen here. I've been with DropTank for just over a year now. So the journey I'm going to share with you is really focused on the last 12 months at our company. From a role perspective, at a small company, we obviously wear multiple hats. So the hats I wore or am wearing currently PM, project manage the implementation of Oracle Analytics Cloud, but I'm also accountable for not only the strategy for our analytics and reporting, but actually executing, right? I don't have anybody to delegate to. I'm doing all the reporting and analytics too, so kind of soup to nuts, I've got it covered. Just a little bit about me personally, and then we'll jump in here. The picture's at the bottom there. That's my family, my wife and I and our 3 kids. That picture, as I look at it, is a little bit outdated, as that was taken last summer. I think our 18-year-old daughter in the middle has caught me in terms of height, so I think I'm officially the shortest guy in the family now. Two locations that are very near and dear to our family. So the state of Iowa, that's probably got maybe some people curious, well, why the state of Iowa? Have you ever driven through there? It's just a bunch of corn. Well, yeah, you're right. It's a pretty simple state, but it's that kind of simple lifestyle that's really attracts us to that state. And then internationally, my wife and I, my wife's company, WeZag, is based in Germany, and we've had the opportunity to travel to Germany a couple times, and just the culture and people there have a real special place in our heart. So that's a little bit about me. What we're going to cover today. So I'm gonna hit a few different points. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of Drop Tank, who we are, what we do. I'm going to share with you our technology, and go into kind of both sides of the coin. You know, we've realized many benefits as we brought Oracle Analytics up and running, but it hasn't been all bed of roses either. I also want to give you some project learning, some things that if we had the opportunity to go back in time, maybe we would adjust the way we manage the project. And at the end, you know, now that we've got our platform, our kind of solid foundation in place, we have you know, a short list of areas that we want to focus to in the spirit of continuous improvement. So I'm just going to share that with you at the end. And I know Dan mentioned the Q&A, which Dan will let you use judgment if you want to interject questions along the way or save them to the end. I'm flexible on each approach is fine. So a little bit about Drop Tank here. So we are a marketing loyalty company. We're about 8 years old, and we deliver end-to-end loyalty solutions. So what exactly does that mean? So we interact in the fuels convenience space, retail space in the United States. So you're familiar as a consumer, right? When you're buying gas, you go in there, you put your card in there. Most stations ask you a couple questions, right? One of them is, hey, enter your zip code in just to make sure, you know, it's secure. Do you want to buy a car wash? Do you want your receipt? You have those questions that are going back and forth. What our company does is we've got technology to actually ask questions at participating sites whether or not a member wants to utilize a certain discount that they've earned. So you may pull up to the gas station and it's $2.75 a gallon, and you're going to get prompted at one of the stations that our technology is at, hey, do you want to use that 20-cent discount? And if you press yes, it takes that price down from $2.75 to $2.55. So we handle all the communications back and forth between the point of sale device, which is the register basically at the site, and asking those questions back and forth that allows the gas price to be changed. And we also do some really cool stuff too, where our members have the ability, as they purchase fuel, as they go inside the convenience store and get products, they basically have the opportunity to earn points. And as they earn points, when they reach certain thresholds, members have the ability to monetize those points. It could be monetized in the form of future fuel discounts. We've got partner programs with other companies, like I've got noted on here, like Southwest Airlines and Wyndham, and I don't have it listed here, but like Target, right? Those are 3 of our partners that if you're a member and you're partnered with one of those, you could turn your points in and get a free airline ticket or a hotel stay or a gift card at Target, whatever. So we manage all of that, kind of maintaining the bank of member points and the earning and using of points. of these items that I've got listed here on the left here, so our kind of bread and butter is this point of sale integration. But as a company, we're evolving. And for kind of a data guru and somebody who loves information analytics like myself, the exciting part is we're growing into a company that is rich in data. It's a very fragmented, untapped industry. There's probably about 125,000 retail fuel sites in the United States. Over 2/3 of them are owned by just individual people that own one site. You'll recognize the brands, but those are operated by one site. In the past, nobody's been able to kind of harness this data and really tap into the rich data insights. But we're making huge strides in that area. So for those of you who are more visual learners, these are just some pictures, whoops, sorry about that show you a little bit about our company. Same thing, but just showing you the interface. DropChain plays in the middle space here too, where we are basically allowing members, based on their everyday transactions, buying fuel, buying consumer products like you see at the bottom there with the Snickers, Doritos, Coke, whatever, and turning that into fuel savings. Whoops. Or if you have other partners that I've mentioned earlier, you monetize it in different ways. So this is a little bit about our operational design as a company. A little bit about our scale. So our CEO, former colleague of mine from our days in Major Oil, David Van Wiggeren, started this company 8 years ago. Our growth projection, that graph that you see on there, that's real. That's not pretend just to get people's attention. What that's saying is 2 years ago, we were doing somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 transactions a day. If I looked at my dashboard today, I think yesterday we did 21,000 transactions. So we've grown, 6 times in the past 24 months. Now the one correction, this graph is about 3 months old here. Just like the rest of the world, we were impacted heavily by COVID, right? As people were not driving here. Our transactions went down about 40% in end of March through April. It's recovered. So I didn't make those updates in here, but you can see where we're hovering now. We're about low 20,000 transactions a day. So a ton of data. And all those transactions carry forward member information, product information, regional, where they bought products, how much they spent, ton of data. The far right, that's real. I'm not privy to share what we're in negotiations with. We're dealing with Fortune 50 companies here and getting really close on some business development opportunities that are going to underpin that far right, which will take our transactions right to about 150,000 transactions a day. What's pretty amazing about our company is we're a company of about 30 employees, 30. Half of our employees are more IT development, doing a lot of code development type work. We have a customer service center. We have sales and marketing. Like I said, we have a team of 1, myself, doing all the data analytics as the business intelligence manager. So we're pretty lean, mean, efficient, but very productive as well. This is not meant to intimidate anybody or scare you. This just gives you a little perspective about the information. And I'd break this up into 3 parts. Kind of the far left is the start. Our information comes from, of course, point of sale devices at the retail sites, but also from people's phones and their computers. So our members, when they register, when they want to check their point balances, when they want to turn them in, they're operating from one of these 2 devices. So that's the start. That's kind of the origin. I'm at the back end here. I'm that guy with my hands up, real excited when I get my hands on all this data here. But the in-between, this is where all the data integration takes place. Again, we have independent data sources that bring member information, transaction information, points information, redemption information, all brought forward. There's a lot of internal plumbing, so to speak, that takes place, and then I get my hands on it and try to make it useful for the data stakeholders that I have within my company. All right. So from an analytics standpoint, now that you have a little bit of background about Drop Tank here, I'm going to share with you a little bit about our analytics journey. This is kind of a scary slide, and if your stomach's turning looking at this, I don't blame you. This is reality. This is as recent as February. This is what some of our reports looked like, and I was the guy doing the reports too. So I have an appreciation for some of the scars from having to do this, where a lot of my time was spent extracting data, putting it in Excel. There were some charts here. I didn't show you everything here too, but this is reality. You know, we've grown as a company with very, very basic analytical tools, but with that, there's a price that we paid, right? Where a lot of my time was spent on preparing data, not necessarily truly analyzing it and helping the decision makers in my company make good use out of it, make better decisions out of it. So very suboptimal in terms of ways of working. So as we move forward, these are the possibilities that regardless of your analytics platform, again, we're an Oracle Analytics client here, you know, this is what's possible. And we saw this early on, and we were really attracted to it, saying, geez, let's not spend so much of our time gathering data. Let's make it really easy for people at their fingertips to quickly stay on the pulse of key performance indicators. In our world, you know, the top two are very important. You know, how much activity do we have? How much money is coming through our system? But then we also wanted to get into the richness of our data. You know, a little heat map at the bottom. Where are our members? We never knew where members were before February. We've got over 900,000 members there, but we didn't really have a good way to make it visually simple for people to understand. Or our customer segmentation. Of those 900,000 members, we've been kind of a one-size-fits-all. We've had such a steep growth in our member base. But now we're getting to the point where we're able to segment based on age, gender, what part of the country you're in, your buying behaviors. It's really an exciting time for us because we can start tailoring or customizing the offers that we have based on what people's interests are. So this is what kind of got our attention, and just we wanted to have a visual of what was possible. This is real. These are dashboards that I've been able to prepare over the last 3 months. These are real dashboards that are being used today by our data stakeholders. I'm not spending my time compiling data. We've done all that plumbing of the data. I feel like I'm kind of more like an artist in some perspective, where I spend my time early on with my data stakeholders, our CEO, our leadership team, finding out what's important to them, and then I design this for them in a way where all they have to do is go on the web every morning, and boom, you know, it's at their fingertips. You know, the top left, those are that includes data through 2 days ago. I think I took a snapshot of this yesterday, so it's 1 day old. Our Oracle Analytics has the ability to be real time. We've chosen initially just to take our data and get it in a batch one time a day, so it's 1 day old. Kind of looking at the bottom, our sales and marketing team, you know, we work with consumer packaged goods companies, people who sell candy, beverages, etc., and we create offers with them. In the past, we didn't have the ability to have real-time data on how those products are doing. Now, I create a little tree map at the bottom where our sales and marketing VP can pull it up any day and say, oh, wow, Milky Way's doing great, M&M second, etc. It's very easy to see. The upper right, that was a dashboard that, you know, as the economy started picking up and people started going back to work somewhat in the U.S., we had a special program that at our sites, which was over 4,000 sites, where we offered members the ability to get 10 cents off their gas. Well, I created this dashboard for us to see what was taking place on a daily basis and really staying focused and making adjustments to our program midstream and reaching out to certain members with reminder emails and text messages. None of this was possible before we went live. So it's been a great journey. Again, I mentioned to you that I started with Drop Tank about a year ago, last July. Excuse me. And it was real important for me not to just put my head in a vacuum and kind of get sucked into the glamour of the power of data visualization. We really wanted to come up with a holistic roadmap for areas that we wanted to address. And my job, this was to basically help us go from green to blue. And you can see some of the words that are associated with the green: manual, assessment, cleansing. We've transformed our business to the point where now our business is much more automated. We have good controls in place to make sure the data is accurate. And the bottom right, we're well on our way to getting into some more advanced analytics that I'll talk about before we conclude the presentation. As far as our implementation cycle for Oracle Analytics Cloud OAC, ballpark, it took us about a year. We started out, this was before I started, our CEO, David, he brought in an outside consultant. That was actually Dan's company, the Vlamis Software, that came and did an assessment of our needs and what we were sitting on in terms of our data and what was possible. We put the project out to bid. Vlamis helped. One of their top project managers, Kathy Penley, was appointed our project manager, who did an awesome job, and Kathy and I worked together to the point where we got to at the end of February, early March, where we went live. So 12 months from assessment to production, day one was our implementation cycle. So what I'm describing to you, a lot of planning, a lot of adjustment, a lot of changes on the fly, but it doesn't happen overnight either. So you should be prepared with a good, robust, rigorous project plan. When I think of benefits that we've experienced, so you can look around what I've got on the screen here. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but for me, the top ones that really jump out at me, and these are real ones that I've experienced. I showed you that ugly slide with the two busy spreadsheets there. That was a world I was living in. I've moved to the point where I'm not spending my time extracting data. The plumbing's been done. I designed it on the front end. I'm now spending time meeting with my data stakeholders on a monthly basis in advance to talk about what we've got coming down the road, what type of visualizations will help them better manage the business. So I feel like I'm adding more value to our company, where I'm helping provide them with insights. They know they can come to me, and I could very quickly turn around visualizations like you saw there for them. So it's basically transformed our company into being much more collaborative and proactive rather than reactive, right? I mean, I try to make it such that when the data is made available to our stakeholders, it's kind of like riding in an elevator. I mean, our leaders, and this goes for all companies, people don't have time nowadays to be looking at detailed spreadsheets and taking extensive time to try to get insights out of it. We want information to pop out at them, to jump out at them, and make it very easily accessible to make decisions and on their business, whatever industry you're in. So that's a reality at Drop Tank now. It wasn't a reality in February. The other one I'll just point out is the data richness. So we've got so much information around, like many of you are familiar with, like when you buy something on Amazon, you might purchase a product and it says, oh, did you know that other people who bought your product X also purchased product Y? We've got the ability to do that, which is really, really exciting. And we're working with some an outside company with some data scientists to help us connect the dots there too, and it's just going to help take our company to another level in terms of our intelligence. So really exciting times. Project learnings, again, it wasn't all smooth. There were some hiccups along the way. When I just reflect and just give you my honest feedback here, here's some things that jump out at me as something that's critical. Clear accountabilities, project resourcing. We did not have a technical resource in place at DropTank. We just hired a data engineer in February who's been fabulous. Well, the first 8 to 10 months of our project, we did not have that data engineer, and we were competing with other projects that were going on, other priorities, so it made it a little difficult. That 12 months, if we were totally focused, to be honest with you, we probably could have shrunk that in half. We didn't have the luxury of doing that. So that's something that you just need to be conscious of, is what else is going on in your company, and do you have the right people in place to deliver the project. Frequent communications. I mentioned the Vlamis team and Kathy. So Kathy and I, we would obviously have our weekly project meetings, and we were talking continuously. I was also independently working closely with my data stakeholders to find out their needs, to do an inventory, to sample products with them, to really start getting a feel for how we can get best use out of the Oracle Analytics Cloud solution. So that was important. Data integrity. So I mentioned to you, by trade, I'm a CPA. I haven't been doing that work for over 20 years, but I guess it's ingrained in me. For me, don't shortcut and get sucked into just having things look really good and flowery here. This is a showstopper. If your data cannot be trusted and accurate, it doesn't matter how fancy your graphs look. So make sure you simultaneously spend time on data integrity and maintaining it. You know, that's not just a one-time effort. We've got a process that we've started here at DropTank where once a month we're validating data from all the various source systems and what's in Oracle Analytics and making sure they match. So with that, as far as getting a little bit into the future here, I know we're running a little short on time. This is Oracle Analytics and the different areas of analytics that are offered through their tool here. The reds are items that we're doing currently. The green are ones that are on my radar for what we want to do in the future here. Very much this data analytics space is moving to the augmented, right? Less human involvement, more artificial intelligence here. Some really cool stuff that's out there. Data enrichment, one-click explain, where you just load your data, and we have the power of a PhD within Oracle Analytics. They'll basically analyze it and give me commentary on what trends it's seeing. It's really a lot of cool stuff that's going out there. When I think of the future, what we've got going, now that we've got our foundation in place at DropTank, so everything we do fits one of these three guiding principles. First and foremost, data integrity. Second, value creation. And 3, process efficiency. Everything I do has to contribute to one of these 3, otherwise it's not a top priority for me. And the visualizations you see, those are just areas that we plan to get into in the next 12 to 24 months. Having this analytical tool on people's mobile phones, getting into predictive analytics, using Spatial Studio, which you see on the bottom right, and then the market basket analysis that is included in our analytics platform. We're planning to build in technology in that area. So that's a little bit about where we've been and where we're going. Dan, I'm going to take a pause here and let's see if there's any questions. Before you tell them, though, I do not have our data engineer, Kartik, on the phone. He's my technical guru here. I am not a technical IT guy. So if your question is more IT related, I'm probably not going to do it justice, but let's see what you got out there, and I'll do my best.
Sure. Thanks, Rich. Really appreciate you going through that. It was great to see how you guys are using the software. I'll remind people that you can submit questions through the Q&A button down at the bottom. And let me go ahead and add one question. while people put their questions in. You know, one of the things that is always challenging with this type of system is getting the data correct, if you will. How did you guys approach that? And with the data coming from the ultimately fuel pumps, did you find that actually the data was pretty clean because it's not being keyed in by people? And how did you go about scrubbing that data, or was that not a problem with your implementation?
Well, good question. I would say the data was fairly clean, but not 100% clean. And what I mean by that is there were times where we've had outages, right? That for some reason the communication would stall between the point of sale device and our central operating center. We're monitoring that now, right? We know that how many transactions we could expect to have every day and how many we actually do have. And if we have gaps, we've got to go into troubleshooting mode and identify where those gaps are and make sure we plug those gaps. The other part of it is the data that we do receive. We've made a switch on our front end. We use a system called Oracle Loyalty Cloud. We had quite a bit of data cleansing from our heritage system. So to the degree that people have legacy systems that have some gaps in it, those sins are still going to be out there and need to be addressed. So we're continuing to go through data cleansing as we speak right now.
Okay, another question came in. Are you using your system more for dashboard use, or are you using it for ad hoc? And I guess related to that, I'll add on, do you have users of that data outside of your own company? Are you making that available to the fuel station stuff? How are you actually using the system mostly?
Okay. So the first question, so we've got a combination, right? We've got standard dashboards set up, like our CEO, our leaderships, they have their own special dashboards that are tailored. I've designed them for their needs, and they go out there if they want to every morning, just at their fingertips they look at. We've also got the people coming to us on an ad hoc basis saying, hey, you know what, I've got this special promotion. Can you help me analyze our performance? And I'll utilize the tool to kind of come up with a custom one-time, if you will, analysis to help them understand the performance of their programs. Our data users primarily are within Drop Tank. We are making it available to external, some of our clients that we work with, but when we do that, we're just giving them the raw data, right? And they need to take it then and do all there's a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to doing the plumbing and joining everything. All the data we've got, members, transactions, points, etc. Those are all independent data sources. So it's not as valuable to somebody until they go through the rigor of connecting and joining that data. But yeah, if it's negotiated into the contract, we'll make it available to people. But I think we're kind of in a position where we can provide a service to our clients too and be the kind of analytical partner to them too. We could provide that service too. We got some flexibility there.
Okay, well, thanks so much, Rich.